Welcome back to the English Pronunciation Workshop with the American Language and Culture Center at Southern Utah University. This video will focus on the long vowel sounds and introduce phonetic skill number 3. In a previous video, we learned about the English short vowel sounds. These sounds are a, and I. And we represent them when we're marking and proving words with the brev symbol, which is like a small arc above the vowel sound. This reminds us that the word will make a short vowel sound. It's often helpful to teach these short vowel sounds first with words when we are learning phonetic skill 1 and 2, and then later on we can introduce additional vowel sounds. Here are the English long vowel sounds. These vowel sounds are easier in some way because the name of the vowel letter is the same as the sound that it produces when it's long. So long A is A, long E is E, long O is O, long U is U or U, and long I is I. Now, in addition to those 5 short vowels and 5 long vowels, we have additional vowels. And this diagram will help us better understand all the vowel sounds that exist in American English and where they appear in the mouth. This particular diagram uses symbols associated with the International Phonetic Alphabet. If you're familiar with that system, you'll recognize these symbols, but we're going to also show how the long and short vowels apply to this system. So as you can see here, we've added the long and short vowel sounds to our diagram. There's 10 of them. And the long E, I, and A, and short E, I, and A sounds all appear near the front of the mouth. So if we look at our diagram, the front here is sounds that are produced closer to the teeth at the front. And then back sounds are further back in the mouth. We have the top of the diagram representing sounds in the top of the mouth. And then the bottom of the diagram represents sounds that are produced lower in the jaw. And so the long E sound, E, is produced near the top of the mouth, followed by I, short I, then A, then short E, and then A, the short A sound. Now, the long I sound, I, is a diphthong, which is a sound that starts in one part of the mouth and moves to the other. So it starts at the bottom front of the mouth and moves to the top of the mouth. I. Another thing to keep in mind is that generally in American English, there is a difference between the A sound in Spanish and the A in English. In English, we tend to add a Y sound to the end of that. Same with the E sound. It's not just E, it's E, and we add kind of a Y sound to the end of it. Now in the middle of the mouth, we have the short U sound, and then we have the other U and the O sounds closer to the back of the mouth. So at the top, we have U, then in the middle, we have O, and we have the short O sound, ah, at the bottom of the back of the mouth. So those are our 10 short and long vowel sounds together. Now you'll notice that there are more symbols here and more vowel sounds than those 10. In the center of the mouth, we also have these other symbols that are often associated with the schwa name. So the schwa represents an unstressed vowel sound. Sometimes a syllable or even a word doesn't receive strong stress in English. And when that happens, the sound tends to move from wherever it is in the mouth towards the center. And it makes a sound which is very similar to the short U sound, the sound. And so we have the schwa sound, which is represented by that upside down backwards E. Next to it, we have a schwa sound with the R sound next to it, the And there are actually 2 other R-controlled vowels in English. We also have the R, the AR sound, and the OR, the OR sound. But the sound, which kind of looks like an ER, can represent ER, IR, and UR spellings in English. Now there's 2 other diphthongs that are represented on our chart here that are part of American English. One of them at the bottom here is ow. So it starts at the bottom and it moves to the top of the mouth. Ow. Then we have a sound that starts at the back of the mouth and moves forward, and that's oi. So that gives us two additional sounds. There is another sound at the top and back of the mouth. This is a sound that many American English speakers don't even realize is part of the English pronunciation system. They can produce a sound, but they don't think of it as a separate sound because we don't have a good letter in the English system to represent this sound. Most often it's represented by a double O, but double O in English can also represent the long U sound. But this particular double O sound is like in book. Sometimes it's also represented by the letter U, as in the word put. I put it on the table. There's one more sound here on our diagram that isn't part of my dialect of American English. In fact, it's disappearing from American English. Most Western American speakers don't have this sound in their sound system. And even when I taught on the East Coast, the majority of my students did not recognize this sound and did not make a distinction between this sound and the short O sound below it. So the short O sound is more of an ah, and this sound is more of an o. But this O sound is disappearing from American English. And so it's not important for you, probably for you to learn or for you to bother teaching your students, because many American English speakers get by just fine without this sound. So in total, this gives us 5 long vowels, 5 short vowels, and at least 3 or 4 or maybe more, depending on how we define those schwa sounds. So American English has at least 13 vowel sounds, possibly more. Let's talk about some of the ways that some of these extra vowel sounds are represented in our spelling system. The oi sound, as in boy, can be represented by the oy or the oi. It tends to use the oy at the end of the word, like enjoy, but uses the oi at the beginning of a word, like the word ointment. Now, then we have the sound ow, as in now, and it can be represented by an OU or OW, or sometimes also by an AU or AW. It tends to use the OU or AU at the beginning or middle of a word, and it tends to use the W spelling at the end of a word. And then lastly, as we mentioned previously, the double O spelling often is used to represent the sound, as in hook, book. In fact, when we see OOK, it almost always will use the sound instead of the long U sound. Other times that we see the double O, it could be the or the oo. So let's go back now and review our phonetic skills. Phonetic skill 1 says that when a vowel is followed by one guardian consonant, the vowel will be short. Here's an example word. We would move under this word to mark it, starting with the blend, mark the vowel, come around the word, and identify our guardian consonant. Because the word has one guardian consonant, it will follow phonetic skill 1, which means the vowel will be short. Phonetic skill 2 also deals with short vowels. If there are 2 guardian consonants following the vowel, then the vowel follows phonetic skill number 2, which again says the vowel will be short. Here's an example. We move under the word, mark the vowel. This time we have a blend at the end of the word, and we can mark that together. We come around the word. There are 2 guardian consonants, the 2 letters in this blend. And so it follows phonetic skill number 2, which says the vowel will be short. It makes the sound, so we know that this word is dust. Here's another example with the word jump. Okay, it also has 2 guardian consonants after the vowel. They're not part of a blend, but they're still 2 guardians, and so we get a short U sound. The word is jump. Now let's talk about phonetic skill number 3. Now we move into long vowel sounds. When a vowel appears at the end of the word, there's no guardian consonant. Therefore, the vowel will be long. So this word here, we move under the word, we mark the vowel. There's no guardian consonant to mark. So we know that this follows phonetic skill number 3. This word will be long, making the long O sound, O, so the word is go. Same with this word. Mark the vowel. There's no guardian, so it follows phonetic skill number 3. It will be long. In this case, a long E, E, and so the word is be. And remember, we mark long vowels with that long line above the vowel to distinguish it from the curved brev symbol above the vowel for a short vowel. So in this video, we introduced the long vowel sounds. We also talked about additional vowel sounds that are part of the American English pronunciation system. And then we learned to recognize phonetic skill number 3, that when a vowel appears at the end of the word, that vowel will be long. So now you know how to recognize phonetic skills 1, 2, and 3.